Thank you all for coming here. It's exciting with a season on the horizon. Just one thing I wanted to throw out there to start is that we have three great seniors that have been through a lot together with Marshawn Williams, Isaac Besh, and Richie Rosenblum. We as a team named them captains this week. It took me a while to get to that point, but every day they've shown up with great commitment and accountability to their team and teammates, and just we're growing a great trust amongst ourselves, and those three are three great role models to lead us this season. So just wanted to open with that.
What kind of basketball will we see from your team? I mean, you're new to all of us, and it's been a long time since there's been a change at the helm of the men's program.
Yeah, have to win with consistent defensive effort and keep ourselves in the game with great defensive effort over and over again. We had a nice exhibition versus Graceland last Friday where we got to see how consistent we could be on the defensive side of the ball. We felt we were nearly 75-80% always in a stance, always talking, always in the right position. For this early in the year with a new group of guys and a new coach, we feel that's a pretty good place to be, and we know once we watch and work together to get to 95-98% of the time, always locked in, always a man on a body, always in the right position, always talking, that the defensive side of the ball will keep us in every game and give us an opportunity to win each game. And offensively, we have some great shooting. Our first exhibition, I think, was a good indicator of what our box scores can look like, with a well-balanced approach of shot selection from shots from the three, as well as really good interior scoring from Marshawn Williams and Gabe. So a good, healthy balance of both being able to get the ball to the paint while also getting the ball to the paint to then kick out to our really good shooters as well. So that's kind of the balance we're looking for offensively, and we'll have freedom when we get stops. We'll have freedom when we can get a momentum outlet off a made basket, but then we'll also have our sets to be able to get to those good team shots for us over and over again.
As for your personal transition, you came here from halfway across the country. What's it like adjusting to a new part of the world, not only professionally but personally for you?
Yeah, I've loved the Midwest culture so far. The sports is just everywhere. High school sports is everywhere. College sports is everywhere. It's a really cool place to live. Wartburg College is a special place in a special community with really good people. So yeah, it's been about 5 months. I finally have a couch in my house. But outside of that, the transition has been very seamless to living and getting to know people, just because this is the kind of environment I like to be around. And then the coaching staff over here too, they're terrific. I can bounce into anyone's office to gain ideas, but also to ask a logistical question, just to be able to help get something done efficiently. So even an event like this, it's really cool to see people so interested and involved in what's the upcoming season could look like. So Wartburg has been tremendously special to me so far, and I love the Midwest culture.
Tell us about your assistant coaches, if you could. I mean, one of them is very familiar to Waverly, but why did you pick them, and I guess how did you find them?
Yeah, when I got hired, I had the opportunity to hire a full-time assistant, and vetting through many great applications. I did, interviewed probably 10 in the first round, 4 second round, and then really narrowed it down to Cade Terrell. He just matched my energy. All of his reference calls, people spoke incredibly highly of him. I know everyone in this athletics office has come to know him very well and see his dedication to the team and to the players. Great work ethic, always a good positive smile, but also really smart too. We're starting to really think a lot alike. while he still has his other ideas from his playing career and coaching career at Central College. So it's always nice as a head coach if you can bring in someone else's perspective and hear how things were done there and what they did well, what they want to change, but also have now a growing similar shared cognition between him and I on how we want to play and how we want to do things. So Kate Terrell's been a tremendous asset to the program so far. And for one of my first big decisions, I know I hit a home run with that. And then Clayton Vetty is from Waverly, and he brings a wealth of knowledge from all over. Had a tremendous playing career, and then in high school and in college, and then also went over to play 8 years professionally in Europe. So he's played for a lot of great coaches. He's played in a lot of great programs. He has a young family that he's always juggling, but is very selfless to the team and making it to every practice so that he can provide great just support for the players and coaching for the players. One thing that's very cool about Vetty's experience too is that every time Clayton Vetty stepped on the court, he was always the best player. And something that Coach Kate Terrell and myself, we were stars in our role as players, whereas Vetty was, no matter what, had the pressure to be the best player. So I think he's very helpful to have that perspective on the staff. Also, he saw the game from looking out to the perimeter, from back to the basket, whereas Coach Terrell and myself, I played point guard, he played wing, so we have a really good, well-balanced staff. And I would definitely love to shout out, we have 3 student assistants, Josh, Logan, and Lily, that provide a ton of extra time and support to our team. So amongst the 6 of us, we feel we're starting to operate at a very high level for our players. And getting really organized to be able to prepare each day to have a great practice, and then do it again the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So.
It's also that we talk about the transition of your personal life here, but how has that been for you? Now being with the team for now around 5 months and going into this preseason, and it can't always be an easy adjustment. Gaining trust on it, but what has that process been like for you?
Yeah, first it was just so much getting to know the players and their families, and what brought them here. And then getting to know what their habits and their abilities are and what their strengths and weaknesses are. So early on was so much of that. Now that I'm on the court with the guys, I think one of the big things is if you watch practice, you'll see I'm right in the mix of practice and right on the court with them. The reason for doing that is we're just at such an early place where they need to feel and hear our expectations over and over again so that they can learn how we want to do things every single second we're on the court. And so once they start to learn that, then they're living it over and over again. And then the cool thing about our team is that they're starting to learn how to defend those expectations amongst themselves. And if you listen to Coach Amsbury just speak about how his leadership is so strongly player-led, we're working to get to that point too, where the players are defending the expectations of how you play defense, the expectations of how you execute on offense, the expectation of what's a good shot versus what is not the best shot for the team. And so when I'm coaching right now, I'm very much on the court at practice with them so that they can feel and hear and understand what it is that we're trying to get everyone's mindset on the same exact page. And I try to do so much of the coaching at practice so that when the games come and I'm moving off the court to on the sidelines, that they've been in those situations, they've heard me over and over again, that I can be more of like a stoic supporter to them when I'm on the sidelines.
How did Stanic come from Serbia to Wartburg?
He played at the Virginia Episcopal School, VES. While I was at Bates College, it was a school I used to recruit at because it's a very high academic school. So when I got the job, just a coach I knew at VES had a player that was still available and looking for the right home. Vuk and I continued to talk and build a relationship, and Wartburg is the right home for him. And He's loved it here. He's fit in very well. He's a very talented player too. And as a freshman, just continuing to grow and learn and see where he can be productive on the court this year.
And how did you go about recruiting this class? Did you kind of follow the leads that were already started when Coach Pate was here, or would you start fresh? I mean, because even come over here, just knowing who's good is a struggle.
Yeah, certainly. A blend of both for sure. And yeah, I'm very thankful that when I got the job, there were still players that were looking to find a home. And yeah, we were able to build a great freshman class of guys that are following the lead of our upperclassmen. They still have a lot to learn to, be more mature and effective players on the court, but they have a ton of potential and they're a really good freshman class. So it was a blend of both of following the leads that were already set into place, but then also a fresh call to all of my contacts of who do you have that's still available and looking for a home that want to be a place where it's a high level education, but also a tremendous student athlete experience with high expectations of all their peers around them. So yeah, certainly a blend of both and very happy with where their growth is so far.
And with that, how did you go about retaining who you had? Because that's a big change.
Yeah.
Someone might not want to have a new coach.
Yeah, certainly. And that's number one. When I got the job was like starting to do individual phone calls with the returning players, get to know them, share who I am too, and just build those relationships so that it's not that I'm just inheriting a roster and so be it. It's no, I'm inheriting a roster and making these guys my own too. And I feel that we've done a really good job, both them getting to know me and me getting to know them, that we were able to retain a really strong returning group. This team only graduated 2 players from last season, and a lot of players gained very valuable playing experience last season. So it was as simple as getting on the phone with them as soon as I got the job and starting to learn who they are, what is it that they want to accomplish, what is it that are their goals, what is it that they need from a coach, leader, and then sharing, what it is, how I act, how I do things, what my expectations are too. And yeah, forever grateful that they all stayed, because it's a really great group of young men. And again, with those captains that we've named, Marshawn, Richie, and Besh, they have been terrific so far.
With 4 teams in the NCAA tournament last year, what excites you about the American River Conference slate this year?
Yeah, it's going to be competitive as always. I think each team, one thing that I feel we have an advantage on is that we graduated fewer players than a lot of our opponents. So yes, all teams return, a strong core, but so don't we. And there's something to be said about game experience. A lot of our players here at Wartburg that are returning this year got that game experience last year. So we know that other teams are going to be good, but there's our guys are starting to build their belief that they can be good too. Tomorrow we get to travel to Wisconsin-Platteville for a scrimmage. Wisconsin-Platteville preseason number 2 in the country. So another opportunity for our guys to build belief to see how they line up versus great opponents. And to be honest, that's what it's all about, is like for you to perform really well, you have to have that belief not only in yourself but in your teammates that you can get it done. And with how good our opponents are, we have to have strong belief, and that's something we're working at.
Last time you were up here, coming in to introduce yourself, one thing that you were pretty adamant about was this is not a rebuild season, as you still, you felt you very much owed it to the people who have been here, like Marshawn, Besh, so how is that importance still carried through? Like, is that still being something you hold close to your heart?
Absolutely, and one thing we talk about all the time too is winners and losers have the same goals too. Losing teams have the same goal that they're going to win their games too, and so don't winning teams. So what that means to us is that like every day has to be our masterpiece, that we're working our tails off each day to actually fulfill the goals that we're setting out to do. So absolutely not a rebuild by any means. Like I said, I owe it to those seniors, and they would tell you the exact same thing, that we're working each day to put our best selves forward to try to win each game that we line up against. So rebuild. There is no draft in college sports, so there is no rebuild years. Each year you owe it. These guys only have 4 years, 5 years sometimes to compete in college sports. You owe it to do their find your best, put your best self forward each and every game. Us coaches get to live in college sports selfishly longer than players do. We want to max out those players' experience and know that they've left nothing, no stone uncovered.
Having a guy like Coach Amsbury that you'll make a lot of bus trips with, he's obviously had a lot of success here and success overall in his career. How much do you rely on a guy like Bob who's done it here in this particular sport?
Yeah, certainly. Just a tremendous coach, tremendous human. I've been around a lot of coaches through my time now, but he's becoming a mentor for me and someone that I'm relying on and asking about how he handles this situation, that situation. We're watching each other's practices as well frequently now. And then this summer we were golfing on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 a.m., just 4 straight hours of basketball ideas. So I'm forever grateful now that he's welcomed me into his corner so I can listen and learn and watch how they operate, because they are doing it at an extremely high level, both with the leadership of the coaching staff, but the way they've empowered their players to be tremendous leaders as well. They do it with discipline, accountability, fun, joy. Coach Amsbury smiles more than I smile, yet can still be the most disciplined and accountable person. So yes, I'm trying to watch and learn from them. And he has tremendous humility to also pop into my office and ask what we're doing too. So it's been a really, really cool partnership so far.
Who's the better golfer?
He is the more consistent golfer by a long shot, for sure.
Was there pressure, you get into that coach's office is a cross-pollination, there's a lot of success and all that, but a lot of them have either been here a long time or have been here since they were 18 years old. Mm-hmm. Was there a pressure for you to kind of learn Wartburg as the new guy?
Yeah, definitely, and I've tried to really throw myself into the mix of being at other games on campus, being in a dunk tank during homecoming week, just like anything Wartburg, I've been trying to watch and learn and just feel it. When you're at homecoming, there's 7,000 people in the stands, and then Oktoberfest surrounding the entire quad here of campus. You can feel the spirit of its alumni and the spirit of its people that makes us a very special place like no other. And so with that, yes, I'm trying to watch and learn what it is that makes this place so special, hear the stories from Coach Winter, hear the stories from Coach Klunder, from Coach Newsom, and all of these tremendous coaches. I've never been around wrestling before, but I'm getting around wrestling now, and feel their spirit and their pride too. So yes, cross-pollination, whatever you want to call it, I'm immersing myself into the other team's programs so that I can feel and learn what's making them so successful, and then what we can do with our basketball program to make it as successful.
What is success for you this year?
Number one, for our guys to have a tremendous experience and feel that they are putting in the work each and every day. Success will also be for our guys to win as many games together as they possibly can. They don't know what that number is. I have no idea what that number is, but we do know we can be competitive and feel that we can be competitive. So, yes, it's to know that we're leaving it all out there, especially for this senior class, to have fun doing that at practice each day, to celebrate those joys in winning together and the sacrifice that they're putting in to find those wins together. Those are some of the big things. To be honest, we haven't sat down and described exactly what success is going to be. We're focusing on day to day, but those will be some of the things when we do really kind of start to think about it.
And piggybacking on that, how much of it right now related to success is just micro, saying, you know what, we're going to be good today, let's be a little bit better tomorrow, let's be a little bit better the next day.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm similar to Coach Amsbury. Like, these guys have a well-balanced life of school and basketball. Like, we're trying to do 2 hours of just hard-nosed, effective practice each day, and super efficient with it. So part of that is just how we train walking in the door, and then when they're walking in that door, the vibe that they generate amongst themselves to lock in for that 2 hour stretch of practice. And then also when we are practicing, throw as much adversity at them and train reacting to that adversity. How we also huddle together and talk once things are going well. When we're up 10, how we're talking to each other, how we're talking to each other when we're down 10. So yeah, I would say right now, you're right, our successes that we're looking for is just one day at a time, and one practice at a time.
Good luck this season.
Thank you.